Today we're doing a versus video. It's about lighting. Wyze color bulbs versus Hue color bulbs. Which do you think will be better? Which should you go with? Is the budget option better than the premium option? Which should we go with? Let's get into it and discuss. There's actually a lot of things to take into consideration on deciding which bulb you want to go with. Not just cost, not just features. Surprise, please stick around to the end of this video. It really depends on how you want to build out your smart home. So let's get into it. The Wyze has a couple interesting features, and the Phillips has some interesting features. So let's go over color range first. Both support 16 million colors, so you have a very large range of colors that you can do. So right now I have like a bright blue. You can do something like, let's say, red. You can do purple, blue, for example. I'll just go back to a light color, for example. So you have a bunch of color options to choose from. A lot of the options come down to what choices you want in ecosystem and what all you're using in your smart home to build out your lighting system. So with the Wyze, they run over Wi-Fi. With the Phillips, they run over Bluetooth or the Phillips Hue Hub. Some things to go into consideration there. All the features that you get with the Wyze bulbs work out of the box. You connect it to the Wyze app and you're good to go. If, on the other hand, you use the Phillips bulbs only on Bluetooth, you are limiting yourself in what features you can do. For example, let's say you want to integrate it into smart home. You may see over here at the corner, I have a Google Home sitting on that table lamp. So if you're wanting to implement it with Google Home or Alexa, keep that in mind. Bluetooth really is only used if you want to control the bulb from your phone. Otherwise, with the Philips Hue, you will need the Philips Hue bridge, which is sold separately and is an additional cost. Speaking of costs, let's talk about costs of the bulbs real quick. The Wyze bulbs you can get in multi-packs. I believe Philips only offers it in a single box unless you get a starter kit. And varying different starter kits that you can get with Philips. I'll link several in the description of both of these brands so that you can pick which one you want to go with. For my instance, I bought with the Wyze a 4 kit, and with the Philips I purchased the single one because otherwise you have to do a kit with them, which includes the hub, etc. And I don't need that because I have the hub already. So the price per bulb, and that's where this really matters even beyond the kits. Your Hue bulbs are definitely higher priced, and that's always been the case with Philips Hue stuff. It's a great product. They work phenomenally well. You're paying for the cost though, honestly. So with the Philips Hue, it's 28 bucks per bulb, where with the Wyze, you can get a 2-pack of Wyze for 28 bucks, or a 4-pack like I did for $47. Now, beyond the cost, there are some benefits that Philips has over Wyze, and that is integration, home automation options. If you've got the full Philips Hue bridge, you have options to integrate it into other services. Like for example, Razer and Philips Hue are partnered together. So if you have Razer products like your PC has RGBs on it, or your keyboard and your mouse, and then you have Philips Hue lights around, you can sync that all together through the Razer software and just have that more cohesive system integrated all together. Where Wyze doesn't have that as much, but due to Wyze being able to use if this then that, or IFTT, you can get pretty close with that. It's just, it has to jump out to third-party systems to utilize that, and you might see a little bit of a delay. So that's a benefit of Philips Hue if you are planning on doing a lot of custom lighting routines. Let's say you have a home entertainment room and you've got the lights behind the TVs and you've got bulbs mounted from the ceiling, and you want all those to sync to the Phillips Hue sync, which is an HDMI box that can connect and output video and the colors. So, and then at that point, all your colors around the atmosphere of the TV are changing. These are situations where you have more benefits in the Phillips Hue. Again, this is why you're paying more for that tight-knit ecosystem. But with the Wyze, you still get a lot of options. Wyze offers a very flexible app, and both of these can integrate with Google or Alexa. And honestly, when you saw me turn these both on and off, I set them through Google Home as 2 lights in one room. So even though they're different platforms, to Google it doesn't matter because I can control them and even set the lights to be the same. So there's an example of mixing and matching bulbs. So you can set the color and you can turn it on and off from Google. And then if you want to get into more granular controls, you of course go into their individual apps. So another thing to consider is with the Hue system is Hue offers a lot of different bulbs. They offer ceiling dome bulbs, like so your bigger canister type bulbs. They offer, you know, outside bulbs to LED strips to LED beam bars that you put behind the TV. So Philips has been in the lighting game a lot longer than Wyze has. Wyze has only really been in this, I believe, since 2020 when they first introduced their white bulb, and last year they introduced the color bulbs. So, and I believe Wyze has some LED strips as well now, but they're still fairly new to the lighting game. But with all that, how do the lights compare? Let's switch to another color real quick. So here's the blues. You should be able to significantly even tell through video the difference. So the color is, in my opinion, is more true, and due to the higher Kelvin and the higher lumens, your colors are going to look brighter on the Wyze than the Hue. So the lumen level on the Wyze is at 1000, where it is only 800 on the Hue. So I would like to see Philips bump that up a little bit because several of their competitors are at 1000 lumens. But we can see here that it's quite a bit brighter. We can see that the light is protruding off or bouncing off the wall quite a bit more with the Wyze than it is just a little bit of depth up above the lampshade. And a little bit here on the table we can see where this table is clearly lit up completely. So that goes in a little bit of a preference. Of course, it depends on how bright you want the systems to be. I do have these currently at 100%. This is how it would look at 75%. This is how it would look at 30%. So we kind of get an idea, even at these lower levels, the Wyze is still running brighter. So we can see in several situations here that the color is definitely brighter with the Wyze. And we'll choose a different color again. So the saturation is higher with the Wyze. So that's another benefit that I like over the Wyze. I believe their colors are a little bit more vibrant. These aren't the only 2 out now that are very reputable brands. Govee is another one I would recommend looking at, as well as LifeX. Both of those other 2 run off of Wi-Fi as well. That leads into the benefits of the hub. Technology that the Philips Hue hub is using is Zigbee. So essentially what that's doing differently than a Wi-Fi bulb is all the bulbs are connecting to the hub, and they're actually building out a Wi-Fi mesh system with each other. So every time you implement another bulb, it expands that Wi-Fi mesh system, and it just all talks internally to each other. Another thing you have to consider with Wi-Fi is, depending on how many devices you have on your Wi-Fi network, you may run into situations where there could be a longer delay in activating the bulb because you've got so many wireless devices congesting on that 2.4 or 5 gigahertz network. And issues on your Wi-Fi already, you haven't invested in a smart bulb yet, you really need to take that into consideration. And that's where really testing on your individual network will probably be crucial to do. So, you know, getting both of these bulbs, order them both at the exact same time. Test them out at the exact same time. See which one's more reliable, and then send that other one back as soon as you're done testing. But that's another reason you might want to go with the Phillips over the Wyze. To wrap this up, I think, again, like I said at the beginning, it depends on your situations. Really large network, you've got a lot of integrations, a lot of routines, a lot of different bulb shapes and sizes, LED lights, etc. Go with Phillips Hue. If you're just starting out, want some really good bulbs at a cost-effective budget without breaking the bank like the Hue system does with everything, I really like the Wyze, and I'm really trying to honestly convert more over to the Wyze bulbs, as I use a lot of other Wyze products, from their cameras to even their scale. Wyze, keep it up, keep making different sizes of bulbs, continue in the lighting game, and if you have questions about any of this lighting stuff, feel free to mention it in the comments below. Make sure to also like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.